Hello, I'm CammyG, and welcome back to our Fortnite Save the World tutorial videos. So today we're going to be talking about everything power level and your survivors, and every single way in the game you can increase your power level. That little juicy number at the top left of the screen, which is related to your fort stats, your FORT. So we will cover all this in detail what better way to do it than on an alternate account that is making its way up the power level instead of just looking at, a fully perfect 130 whatever power level. So it's more than just your survivor squads that plays into your power level. So I want to cover the other ways first, and then we'll go to survivor squads because the survivor squads is the longest part. So briefly, I will just touch on the other ways. So when you're first starting out, one of the bigger ways is your research. So as you can see here, we are gaining research. That's just gone up now that we've come in here. Every time you click in here after time has passed, you will gain more research points, and you can spend them on the 4 statistics. So your FORT, your fort statistics. Nice of them to think of it in that way. So fortitude, that is your health. Offense, that is your damage with weapons. Resistance, that is your shield. And tech, which is your ability damage and trap damage. That sort of thing. So it's up to you where you want to go first. I typically go for tech, then offense, then fortitude, then resistance, but it doesn't really matter too much. The main thing is that you want to put these all in one of the statistics first, to level up to level 10, because every time you get to the end, you get an increased bonus. Instead of, each level here, if I do this once, you can see the power level top left, and again, goes up a tiny amount. When you get to the end, it is a massive bonus. So you definitely want to do one first, and then, whichever other one you might want to do resistance after that, for example, and so on. So that's your research. We then have upgrades, which don't technically, they don't tie into power level, but I just wanted to cover it because it covers stuff like building health and building repair speed and your pickaxe. Now you might think, why am I like power level 70, but my pickaxe isn't doing any damage to stuff in Canny Valley, for example? It's because you need to spend your upgrade points in here to increase your backpack size, to increase your building repair speed, your building health, that sort of thing, by spending your upgrade points. Now, where do you get upgrade points? So you can get them from missions, but you also get them from leveling up. So if I go to profile here, you can see in another 2 levels, or 3 levels, however way you want to think about it, we're going to get another 3 upgrade points. Now, you can also get the fort statistics in here. So I don't actually have one ready. I'm not sure if I've already done them all, because we've been grinding this adventures a lot. But you will see the symbols, so the swords, for offense, the heart symbol for fortitude, that sort of thing. You will see them on some of your level up, and that will increase your power level. So upgrading your account level does actually increase your power level. To an extent, because you don't always get them forever and ever. It does have a limit, but it's definitely worth grinding out the game, which you will be doing anyway. So yeah, we've covered those methods, and the only thing left now is survivors. So you might think, doing your main quests would increase your power level. Now, it doesn't directly, so if I just go through some missions here, you'll see there's never any sort of fort statistic reward here. You will notice, however, that we uncover a new squad here, the Think Tank, by doing one of our Storm Shield defenses, and you will generally get Hero XP, Survivor XP, an actual Survivor. You're going to unlock ways to increase your power level indirectly, but you won't directly increase your power level. So, with the Survivor squads, as I am in Plankton, I don't have them all unlocked, but I'm getting close. I think we have 6 here out of 8. So there's 2 for every FORT letter. So there's 2 for fortitude. So you can go through them and you can see the symbols. So we've got heart, swords, helmet for resistance, and then tech, and then it repeats. Maybe not in the same order, but it does repeat. So you'll have 8 of these in total, and each of these contributes to your FORT statistics, which then adds up to your power level. So obviously, if you want to focus on one more than the other, like tech, for example, like I like to focus on tech for the most part, or offense, like I've got a mythic lead survivor in there. Obviously, focus on what you want to focus on first. So there's quite a lot to unpack here. So just from the high level here, each squad, obviously, as I say, contributes to one of the FORT statistics. and you will notice there is a plus number next to that statistic, and then there is a party shared. So basically all that's happening there is a fraction of what your power level is will get shared to your teammates, whether it's randoms or someone in your squad. Both of them will get the addition, and you will receive addition from them. So as you move up higher in the game, you will gather more, lending from your teammates. So the game generally gets a little bit easier in that sense, but also, you get more difficult enemies, more difficult, modifications in missions and stuff, so it does balance out in a sense. So how do these survivor squads work? So you have one leader on the left, and then you have 7 survivors to go with it. Now the leader, I believe, contributes to the power level more than the regular survivors, but also their power level does increase a lot more quickly. So if you can see here, I mean, he's level 4, 4 stars even, and the rest are 2 stars, so you'd expect it to be higher anyway, but he is 222 power level, and they are nowhere near that. So if we go into our actual survivor squads, we can see we have a level 3 here, and you can also see the base power level of this guy is 111, but obviously when we go into the squad and we have another lead, say in the flight one, we have her at 54. If we go back to our squads, we go in, you can see he's 222. Now, if we go to the flight one, she's 108. So they have both doubled. Now, why is that? So if I change her to be this one, for example, she's 46. Let's see if we can find her in the squads. Probably should have found her beforehand. Here she is, 46. Now, she's 46 here, and she's also 46 in the squad. That is because she has not matched the leader match. So that leader match there doubles the power level of the leader. So that's why I say, they provide more to the power level. It doesn't actually individually apply more to the power level, but if you get that leader match, you're going to double the benefit of leveling up a lead survivor. So that's why it makes sense to power up your lead survivors first. It also makes sense to put in a leader that matches the leader match, even if they're low rarity. So obviously I've got one here, she's 2 stars, and she is uncommon. Now if I swap her out for the same level in purple, in epic, she actually decreases the power level. If you look at the top left, I'll switch it back, power level goes up with an uncommon in. That's how powerful the leader match is. So the first thing you're going to want to do when you're creating your survivor squads is make sure the leader match matches. And then once you've done that, you can work on, leveling up the rarity and working towards those mythic leads. Like here, obviously I got him in a llama, and I chose him because I wanted him to be in my offense squad so that I could have higher offense. But if I popped him in 42, for example, he would not perform as well. He still would outperform this guy because he's only level 1, bless him. But I don't really care about health as much, so I haven't leveled them up as much. So there's your leader. So yeah, as I say, you want to focus on the leader first, generally. Now, I wouldn't say level up your leader to 5 stars before leveling up your base survivors, but generally I like to level them up about double. So as you can see here, I've got him 4 star, and I've got them 2 star. But it's up to you. You can get these guys 3 stars before making him 5 star, for example, or 4 star. But you've seen the benefit and the difference. Just look at the difference in the numbers. It is crazy. So the next thing to talk about is the personality match. So each lead survivor will have a personality, and that is the second symbol. So they have the crown symbol, which means they're a leader, and then after that you will see another that voice break though, another symbol. So that is their personality, and as you can see in all of these cases, I have matched the personality on these, which is generally what you want to do. But I want to just show in one of the examples here that personality is actually not as important as rarity. So as you can see, this woman here is 53, she's 2 star, and she's epic, but she has a personality match. Now if I swap her out for an equivalent, but in legendary, he's 2 star, but he doesn't match personality, and yet his power level is higher. That is because the difference from going to epic to legendary is greater than the difference from going from no personality match to a personality match. So generally, instead of matching personality first, you want to match the rarity first. So if you have legendary survivors and you have, even epic that match personality, put in the legendary survivors. They're going to give you more of a power level benefit. Yeah. Now, it can go even as far as down to the really common ones. So if I just swap these two out, for example, for really low level ones, so not leveled up at all, let's see. In fact, let's go to a squad where we have a personality match on the bottom end. So as you can see, when you get really low down, like level 1, like not leveled up at all, you can see that this rare survivor with the personality match actually matches the level of this legendary survivor. So if you haven't leveled them up, it potentially is worth, going for personality first. But as soon as you level these two up, like if I just level them up once, or to level 10, I guess, we'll do level 10 on both, you'll see that the legendary survivor outperforms the rare one just because of that rarity difference. So it is, honestly, just don't worry about personality until you're at like the end game. It's really not worth the bother. Now, obviously, if you have a bunch of legendary survivors, you'll want to put those in. Say you have all your squads full of legendary survivors, then it's worth, fiddling them around to make sure you have all of the ones that have the double circle in your double circle squad. Make sure you have all the ones with like a weird, Tetris puzzle piece looking ass like personality. Don't just ignore personality, but unless you're picking between two legendaries, I would just always pick the legendary in that case. So yeah, that's mostly what we're talking about. And then the only other thing you might have noticed below the leader match symbol is this, obviously a personality match, which will say how many there are. And then underneath that, we have some bonuses. So if I go into the first squad, we can see there's a 5% shield regen bonus, 2 out of 2. So that is the last symbol on the survivor squads, or on the survivors, I should say. So you'll notice on the survivors, they have had different symbols, which are very grayed out if they don't match, but then when they match, you can see them glowing all beautifully, bright and wonderfully, like this. So this battery symbol is your shield regen bonus. So if you have 2 of that in the same squad, you will get a shield regen bonus of 5%. Simple as that. Then if I go to the next squad, we can see there's a trap durability one. So this is perfect for endurance. Obviously, you need trap durability to be the absolute maximum. Now, this is another thing where you probably want to focus it more in the end game. It's nice to have at this point, and I've sort of focused where I can, but I don't have that many. You'll notice I only have those 2 because it's really not that much of a worry, but it's something you want to keep an eye out for. So me personally, I think the best ones are trap damage, trap durability, range damage, and ability damage bonus. Now, obviously, if you're a melee player, you'll probably want to focus on this guy. Someone like this guy with melee damage bonus. If you're a ninja and you always play melee, you're probably going to want to put some of those in instead of the range damage. It all depends on how you play. If you never use trap tunnels, which, like, come on, dude, what are you doing? But if you never use trap tunnels, that's a viable option. You could really go for a strong hero build with super overcharged weapons. You probably won't want any, trap durability or trap damage. But yeah, the way it works is you just need that many. You can see the matches as you hover over them, and when you go on the outside, you can see how many have matched. Some require 3 and some require 2. Now, because there's 7 slots in a squad, the most optimal way to do this is to have 2 double matches and 1 triple match, because that will add up to 7. Now, if you want to have 3 double matches, for trap durability, for example, you want trap durability on every single survivor squad, that's absolutely fine. I'm not going to tell you not to do that. Just bear in mind that there is a slot at the end that you're missing out some value from. But as I say, this is endgame stuff. You really don't need to be focusing on this stuff as you level up. It's really not that important. But hopefully this covers, all the questions you ever had on power level. I really do hope this helped. That is why I make these videos. I really enjoy, teaching the knowledge I've gained over the years. And yeah, hopefully you learned something. So, if you did learn something, please do let me know in the comments. I would really appreciate some feedback and some engagement on the video, because it will really help me out if I've helped you out. So I really appreciate that. If you're already subscribed, thank you so much for being part of the squad. But if you haven't subscribed already, please do. And I will hopefully see you in some future quest videos or tutorial videos. So thank you so much for watching. Get back out there, raise your power level, and I'll see you in some missions.